I didn't have this part planned, but after hearing Kevin's heartwarming story about his vacation, I just have a little tidbit about our friendship, because Kevin has been my friend for over 10 years. And I moved in February, right, from a little apartment to like a 3-bedroom house. And my friend Dustin, my mom, and Kevin came to help me move. And months after I moved, I'm in the car with my mom. I said something about Kevin, and my mom's like, "Did I ever tell you what Kevin said the day we were moving?" I'm like, "No." She's like, "Well, Dustin had a trailer, right, a big flatbed trailer, and they had just put the baby crib on the trailer, and Dustin's like, 'Hey, do you think that's gonna be okay, or do you think it's gonna fall off?' And Kevin's like, 'I don't know, I don't really give a shit, it's not my stuff.'" And I was like, I love Kevin. That is the kind of friend Kevin is. He doesn't want to be there, but he will be there for you. So, okay, back to this. So I am so glad to be back. I am 50 pounds lighter than I was the last time that I was here doing this, because I had a baby. I know, it's awesome. Like, it changes your life. It's the most amazing thing that honestly can ever happen to you. And it's changed my world. But I'm going to backtrack on the baby, and I'm going to ask y'all a question. Has anyone ever had a friend with benefits? Because that's what I was doing, and it's so fun, right? It's like no strings attached, like secretive, you're like sneaking around and no one's supposed to know, unless you get pregnant by them, and then even your grandma knows that you're a whore. So, you know, time flies. When you have a baby, it's just, time's just flying, right? It's crazy, Your baby's getting older, and I realized one day, I'm like, it has been 16 months since I've even kissed a guy. So things are really dry down there, and I'm like, okay, I have got to get it in, right? Like, I gotta do something about this. And it's not that easy to get laid when you're a girl. I know everyone thinks that, but I do have standards, okay? I'm not gonna like fuck trolls, like at least like a 4 or 5, you know, on the scale. And so, for instance, New Year's Eve, like I'm drunk, and I see this guy with curly hair, and I'm like, oh, he does my to-goes at Cheddar's. He like always gets my food right. So I go over to him, and I'm like, "Hey Josh, it's so nice to meet you." And we're talking, and it's going really well, but I'm getting this really weird vibe from him, and I can't place it. So I'm like, okay, maybe I've lost it. I don't know. So I'm like, cool. Like, I walk away, and I go over to Kevin and AJ, my asshole friends who don't give a shit about my love life. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on with that guy. And all of a sudden, this Mexican guy behind us is like, "Hey, are you talking about Josh?" Actually, he wasn't Mexican, because that doesn't sound like a Mexican guy at all. But he's like, "You talking about Josh?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah, I think he bets for the other team." And I'm like, okay. All right, so I hit on a gay guy. So the next time I'm at the bar, this is when you know that you're getting desperate, because all of a sudden I've had a few drinks, and I'm looking at the bartender, Ben at Toby's, who has been my bartender for how long? And all of a sudden I'm like, why have I never done that? And then I'm like, oh yeah, I hooked up with his brother. Who cares? He's cute. So my friends were like, yeah, he's single, dude. Like, go for it. I'm like, cool. I'm gonna like get my hot lady disguise on and go over there. So I'm like, hey, and he's like, you need another beer? Yeah. So he hands me the beer, and I'm like, are you single? And he's like, no. Okay. So of course I joined Tinder again, because nothing can go wrong with that, right? So I joined Tinder, and like I matched with this Air Force guy. What a surprise. And he's so new to Tinder, and not new to Tinder, he's new to Air Force, and he's 30, and that's not a red flag at all. So he can't leave the base yet. So we are gonna have a picnic. A fucking picnic. And I'm like, oh my god, I'm so excited, guys. I'm going to this fucking picnic. And I'm at work, and my good friend Ashley, my coworker, she says, friend, can you get on the base? And I was like, yeah, why wouldn't I be able to? And she's like, well, because you're a felon. And I was like, I don't know. So I called. the nice gentleman on the phone is like, absolutely not, ma'am. You cannot come on the base. You are a felon. And I'm like, okay. So I get set up with my friend AJ's dad friend, right? Like, he's a dad, he's divorced, he gets along with his ex-wife, which I think is a big deal. And everything's easy, it's like organic. I'm like, oh my God, it's like talking to someone I've known my whole life. And so, you know, things are going really good for a while. And then I'm realizing, I'm like, how do you know when you're like exclusive? And you don't want to be the gay one that's like, are we like dating? I can't bring myself to do that. So I'm rolling like all the clues through my head and I'm like, okay, we go on dates and we're on social media together. We watch Game of Thrones at the same time together and The Walking Dead. And the other night, he licked my asshole. Like, yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty intimate, right? And he even put a finger in there when I told him not to. And I mean, I think that's a little bit of a level of commitment because I straight up told him, I'm like, dude, I'm telling you right now, do not go there. And he's like, not even a finger? And I'm like, especially not a finger, dude. I was like, I've sharted. And he goes, Jaden, everyone has sharted before. And I'm like, okay, like more than 10 times? And he's like, no. But that didn't stop him at all. So I'm like, you know, I think he might be like in it for the long run here. You know, he doesn't even care what's coming at him. And I also gave him like a breast milk facial. And I think that's pretty intimate, you know. That, everyone thinks it's like one hole. It's like 6 holes that your milk comes out. It's like a fucking shower. He loved that shit. I'm like, okay, this guy really is into me. He likes me a lot. So, of course, all of my friends are telling me, like, you know, just hold back. Like, hold back, dude. Just wait like 3 months before you tell them all your weird shit. But I'm an open book. And I'm very open. In fact, you know, I had a child, right? I pushed a human being out of my body. So I was kind of worried about that. Like, you know, things are different. It's been like a really long time. And every once in a while, I started hearing things in my house when I was alone, right? Like, I'm not crazy. I mean, I take medicine for that, so I'm not crazy anymore. But I would bend over to like pick up laundry. And like all of a sudden, my vagina would be like whispering things to me like, and I'm like, excuse me? I'm not talking to you right now. I'm picking up laundry. Or like my baby daughter fell asleep in her crib finally. So I'm like peering over. I'm like, oh, my sweet little baby. And I'm, now the fucking baby's woken up. Like, fuck, dude, like, what's this gonna be like during sex, you know? You know, all you girls know, you don't have to have a baby to have your vagina talk to you at times when you don't want to talk to it. Like, you're hooking up with a guy, you just did like a cool, like, doggy style position, and all that, you're like trying to be sexy and look back at him, and you're like, oh, fuck, and then you move, and it happens again? God damn it, like, we have it so bad. You guys have it so easy. You don't even know. But anyway, so I decided to tell the guy, I'm like, I'm gonna tell him everything, right? Like, take it or leave it, that's how I am. I don't need this guy to like not know about my felony and then like Google me 6 months later and see all 3 of my mugshots. Like, that's not something you want to come up later in a relationship. So I am thinking, you know, he's gone through all this with me. He knows about everything. And I know what you guys are wondering, right? Like, are we still together? Fuck no, we're not. So, and it's okay. It's fine that we're not together because I don't think my mom would have liked him anyway. So, my mom is an eccentric Christian. I'm a Christian. But my mom is also a flat earther. Like, it's not a myth. People really think that the earth is still fucking flat. No, I see all of your faces, you're like, what? No, she has a YouTube channel about this shit. She has like 500 subscribers. Like, I don't know who the fuck these people are following her, but I can't even do it. That's what she said joke in front of this woman without her being like, Jaden. And I'm like, oh my God, it's funny, dude. Like, let it go. So, a little example of just how, like, she doesn't really appreciate my humor. So the other day, my mom and me are on my couch, and I'm eating fajitas. I fucking love fajitas. And it's like the perfect bite coming up, right? Like it's like the sour cream, the guacamole, the peppers, like everything. I'm so excited. My daughter's just like playing on the floor. And I'm just taking the perfect bite, right? And I take this bite, and the idea hits me. I'm like, I'm gonna send a funny Snapchat to my girlfriends. So I take this bite, and I turn around with my phone, and I'm like, I got the promotion. And my mom's like, what promotion? You got a promotion? And I was like, think about it. And she goes, Jaden, you have a daughter. And I was like, I know, and that's a funny joke. So obviously my mom was not excited when she found out I was doing comedy again. And so she asked me two things. Please just do 2 things for me when you do your set this weekend. Okay, Mom, what are they? Don't badmouth me. I think I did okay, right? It wasn't too bad. And don't talk about your sex life. I don't know, I did it. Sorry, Mom. That's all I got, y'all.